Well, today we're going to talk about the red-tailed Rasbora, and everybody's probably going to want to know what is it, where does it come from, and how do you keep it in a glass box. When I first purchased these fish, I bought them under the trade name Brilliant Rasbora, but when I got home and I typed in Brilliant Rasbora, I kept getting a couple different fish that would pop up. So for all practical purposes in this video, we are not talking about the Brilliant Rasbora. Even though you may see this fish listed as such, a better trade name for this particular fish is the red-tailed Rasbora. Whereas the Brilliant Rasbora looks a lot like it, but it doesn't have the red tail. If you want to do your own research on this fish, I recommend using the actual Latin name of this fish. That way you'll actually get the information on this particular fish and not the other one. The Latin name for this fish is Rasbora borapetensis. Alright, now that we know the exact fish we're talking about, where does it come from? Well, in the wild, this fish has a huge range, taking up most of Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, into Malaysia, almost all the way down to Singapore. I mean, this fish has gotten around. On the ICUN red list, it's listed as least concern, so there's really not too much worry about it going extinct in the wild. Alright, how do we keep it in a fish tank? Well, this fish is a pretty adaptable fish. It's bred commercially now in fish farms, and it's pretty easy to take care of. Anything beyond the extremes and you should be fine as a typical, tropical fish tank, or what we call a tropical fish tank anyways. pH between 6 and 8. Don't worry if you go a little over. I don't know. Yeah, you could go under as well. I don't know how far under I'd go. Temperature wise, typical answer 72 to 82. I don't know if I'd keep this fish in, say, 70 degrees for a long period of time. I think it would tolerate the warmer temperatures better than it would tolerate long-term cold temperatures. That's of course my own guess, just coming from where this fish comes from and where it's bred commercially. As far as hardness goes, anything beyond the extremes will be, or anything within normal limits, avoiding the extremes will be fine. It's probably recommended soft to moderate, but yeah, you can keep this fish in hard water all day long. It may not spawn for you, but it'll live just fine in hard water as well. Alright, now for the fun stuff. What's this fish like to keep? I gotta say, I fell in love with this fish. I saw them at the local fish store. They were listed at 99 cents. I took one look at them. I had a planted tank that needed a mid-water swimmer, so I bought 12 of them, and man, did they fit the bill perfectly. They occupy that niche. They don't hang out right at the top, but they don't hang out in the gravel either. So you have that nice mid-water school of fish, and they school pretty tight. The only thing is that this fish does get to be 2 inches, maybe even a little bigger. So yeah, you're going to want a longer tank, maybe something over 2 feet long, to get that real tight schooling behavior. But I mean, you can keep them in smaller tanks as well, just maybe not a big group of 12. But they they really nicely maintain that mid-level area, which sometimes in a planted tank can be bare. The fish has good looks. That gold stripe is always nice and bright, and depending on how it hits the light, it really stands out. So it'll hit you from across the room. And for a fish that is only going to be around $1, you can't beat that. The fish is very peaceful. You can see it here swimming with other Rasboras. I haven't found a fish that it, chases or doesn't tolerate. But it also doesn't stick up for itself very well. I made the mistake of putting in some Paraguay tetras, and they can be kind of boisterous. And as soon as I put them in, the school broke up, the red on the tail disappeared, and they had just hung out in the weeds. So they don't stick up for themselves very good. They're just going to run away and hide. The color on the tail can fade if they're in stress. If they're not happy, then that red will disappear, which is a good indicator saying, hey, maybe I'm not feeling too well or whatever. As far as spawning goes, this fish breeds really easy. I have witnessed spawning behavior several times, and I've only had this fish for maybe 3 months. It was probably going on before that, but I really wasn't paying attention. The only thing that's a little different is these guys seem to do all their spawning behavior in the evening, which typically you would think it'd be in the morning, dawn, that kind of thing, but these fish typically seem to go through their spawning motions in the evening. I haven't tried to raise any fry to actually breed this fish, to where I could get fry out of it. I would have to do it in a different tank. Unfortunately, I also have Pandagara in this tank, and as soon as those eggs start hitting the plants, those Pandagaras just go nuts and just start eating them. So, in closing, it's a very easy fish to... Oh, foods. I didn't talk about foods. Man, I'm not very good at this, am I? Feeding this fish is also really easy. Any typical flake food is a base diet. Then frozen foods as well. They do have small mouths, so sometimes maybe frozen bloodworms, they choke them down, but that's kind of big for them. But any of the smaller frozen foods is great as well. So yeah, get this fish. It's an easy fish to take care of. It's colorful, and it's a lot of fun and easy to breed. So with that, you guys have fun.